Hey guys, this is Miasma here with another video. Today we're going to be going over the topic, are you ashamed of anime, and or does anime embarrass you? Are you afraid to admit it to the outside world? And I'm not talking, fellow anime fans or stuff like that. I'm talking about, like, is it a hobby, something that you like, that you wouldn't necessarily admit to people that aren't into anime? And this is something that I think I've dealt with for a while, and I'm sure a lot of you have out there as well. And I'm going to attack this by addressing kind of three main questions. Basically, are you proud to be an anime fan? What is the reputation of anime that's out in the market? And how do you explain anime? How do you explain this hobby that you love so much? For me, am I a proud anime fan? Yes. My love for the medium has grown greatly in the last couple years. For a while, I was an on-again, off-again anime watcher, especially growing up. But since about 2014, I've been more into this medium than ever. I started collecting in 2015, and I think that a lot has changed since, I was younger, at least that I can remember. I have definitely seen more anime apparel and stuff being sold. I see a lot of like anime shirts like this. Got a nice Miasma shirt here, and I see a lot more stuff like that out in public than at least I would have noticed when I was younger. That being said, I think stigmas still remain with it. Personally, I'm still becoming more. I'm trying to develop a better ability to come out to people that I really like anime and trying to explain it to them. Sometimes I find that the task isn't really worth whatever we're going to get out of it, because I find it's very difficult to sort of convert someone's idea of thinking on this without them actually sitting through and watching some anime themselves. I used to never bring it up, even amongst pretty close friends. I think I've said this on the channel. I was an athlete for a while. I played football and I did track. And a lot of my teammates and stuff in that world would have never watched anime, or at least they didn't really admit it. Maybe they were like me and didn't admit it as well. I have thought about that too. That's a big possibility. But it just wasn't something that you talked about in that kind of culture. And very often, if it did come up, it was kind of like, oh, you saw what shirt this other kid was wearing that day. It was a Naruto shirt or something like that. Oh, isn't that weird? And back then, I am a little ashamed to say that, I didn't really stick up for the hobby that much. I kind of just, rolled with that. I wouldn't make fun of it myself, but I would just let those kids have their fun and know that I'm not going to convert these people's way of thinking. Today, I find discussing anime to be one of my favorite things to do. That's why I started this channel. I love to hear from you guys. I love to share my opinion on stuff. I'm sure I'm wrong about a lot of things, but I think it could be a learning experience. And I think that anime is just a medium that you can go on and on about and dig deeper and deeper into, which I really love. So I guess to answer that, I'm not ashamed of it, but I feel that it can be a kind of a stressful hobby to have, hobby to be into, mostly because it's kind of a niche thing and it's kind of hard to convert people's way of thinking. What's the reputation of anime? Anime, like I said, has this sort of weird stigma to, I think, outside people, as it's dubbed as immature and weird. And very often the most popular series here in America, they tend to be the shonen demographic. Your younger scale kind of battle series, your Dragon Ball Z's, your Naruto's, and that's not really. I'm not really trying to take a dump on those series. I think that they're good for what they are, and I appreciate the fact that they get a lot of people into anime. And I watched them when I was growing up, but I really dislike the fact that they are sort of the brand that is pushed for anime here in America very often, because there are so many more mature series. I think that's probably the core of the issue, is that anime has a stigma of immaturity, and those sort of that support the industry and those who sell stuff in the anime industry, they don't seem to mind that. They like that it's a niche, kind of like immature thing, it seems. You walk into a store that'll sell like Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff like that. You'll see 1,000 things for Tokyo Ghoul and Naruto and stuff like that. And why? It's not really the store's fault, because the store wants to make money. Why is that? Because it sells. You know, people buy that Tokyo Ghoul blanket. People buy that DBZ shirt. And I know I'm not alone here. I watched it growing up. I watched DBZ and stuff growing up. But, you know, I've gotten older. I found other stuff to watch. And I wish that those shows would get promoted. But they don't get promoted as much. And I think that's kind of a sad thing. You know, we're kind of like stuck in quicksand on these, like, school children kind of shows. Like, how many more anime about kids in school are going to come out before we start holding hands across America? I don't know. It's sometimes it just gets to be too much. And I think that's where some people maybe lose the fight to try and promote more mature anime, because they just kind of, you know, well, that's the wave that it's going to go. You know, DBZ is going to be the face of anime forever. Which, I mean, I hope that we evolve past that, but I can see how it can be difficult. I think it's foreign nature also comes into play here a little bit as well. Because it's from Japan primarily, not nearly as many people are going to have a deep knowledge about it. You know, it's not often on American television for those people that still watch cable these days. And, you know, it's when stuff is made, when things are made here, people can at least have like sort of a subconscious grasp of what it is. Like the PGA Tour, for example. I know nothing about golf, but I know that it is a big tournament thing that airs on television for a couple days of the year. That's what I know about it. Some of it's probably false, but some of it might be true. And I think a lot of people can say more about the PGA Tour than they could say about anime that's correct, because it's sort of available here. And yes, anime is available to stream on like certain websites and stuff like that, but that's already making it a little less known, because you have to go on to, you know, these kind of obscure, in the mindset of, you know, general population websites to access it. And, you know, not everybody's going to do that. Not everybody's going to pay attention to stuff that isn't necessarily on Netflix or cable. And, yeah, there is anime on Netflix, but we all know that they don't do a great job of doing that. They don't put up whole entire series and stuff like that, but that's an argument for another video. So what's the reputation of anime? I think some people see it as this kind of weird and immature thing. And if, you know, I knew nothing about it and I just judged it off of posters and stuff that I saw being sold at the mall and what a lot of kids were wearing, and seeing Google imaging, you know, anime fans, and seeing pictures of body pillows and stuff like that, I think it would weird me out too if I knew nothing about it. Finally, I want to talk about how I explain anime. I try and tell people the truth. They ask me, why are you into this? And I would respond by saying that anime is a really fun medium of entertainment that instills a multitude of emotion for me. Depending on the show, it could be very relaxing or very, very thought-provoking. And it can make you cry. It can make you laugh. It can just make you experience all these different things. You can personally relate to it. And or you could watch something that's completely ridiculous and completely in contrast to your life, like a fantasy show that is so different from your boring, mundane world around you that it's an escape. And I love that aspect of it. How there's a different anime for like any time and anywhere, and yeah. But basically, that's what I wanted to get at. How do you guys answer these questions? How do you explain anime? How do you see the reputation of anime in the outside world to people that don't really know much about it? And are you proud to be an anime fan? How often do you actually go out in public in anime shirts or something like that and actually explain it to people that have no idea what you're talking about? Do you even bother? Is there some embarrassment level to it? I'm not here to really judge. I mean, in the past, I'd rather not talk about it with strangers, but I'm trying to get better at that. And let me know if you guys are doing the same. But yeah, let me know if you guys liked the video, and tell me if you can answer these questions. As always, guys, this is Miasma from Gyre Media, signing out.